So there's so much gaming news that we covered all into the gaming bits.
There's too much, honestly. Too much.
Well, what's not enough is how much EA lost in market value because they lost 6 billion, but I feel like we could make them lose more.
Yeah.
So this is of course following Football Club 25 and Dragon Age both coming out to underperforming news.
Yeah, the bigger headline has been Dragon Age because, of course, it is. It was very controversial upon its release for a few reasons, not limited to a bunch of internet idiots saying that it was too woke. But the main takeaway here is actually not Dragon Age, it's Football Club. Apparently, for the first time in years, EA had a huge drop in sales and overall activity, financial activity, like sales of like equivalent of loot boxes
Mhm.
for Football Club. And yeah, that huge downturn led to this $6 billion loss.
Now, is this the first year or second year they've dropped the FIFA logo?
This is the second full year, second release in the Football Club moniker. So last
Right.
year, I guess the game didn't have as much of a severe drop off as this year. Who knows why that might be?
FIFA. Oh, sorry,
I
that's the
don't
only connection I can
know.
make between the two.
Yeah, I have no idea. It seems random unless just the audience is getting less enchanted with the idea of random polls. Like maybe the ultimate team model is needs a revamp.
Um, Maybe. I mean, Matt or EA over at Madden and NCAA do their ultimate teams just
Yeah.
fine. Constantly have
Well,
new updates. Well, we'll see. I
yeah.
mean, however, will EA make up $6 billion in market value?
I'll have to well, I think the story of 2025 will be like we talked about the year-end wrap up for
How
video
do
games
games
is
make money?
how will these companies course correct after these big mistakes? And this is one of them.
Right. Oh, especially when there's rumblings of GTA, what are we on, seven, six,
Six. We're still
seven.
on six.
Or still on six. GTA 7 coming out to the tune of 80 to $100 price tag.
Six, not
Yeah, where are we on? Six, seven?
this will be six. Yeah.
Oh, this will be six. Not we're currently in the middle of six.
No, we're still I'm saying we're still on six. Like six hasn't even come out yet. Year seven is
Well,
years
when you
ahead.
said that, I feel like, okay, wait, we're still on six, meaning people are still playing Grand Theft Auto 6.
No, they're
Not
playing
me, of course,
five.
clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly, I am not one of those people.
They're playing five, which is
I know,
yeah,
but isn't that like a
very
10-year-old
old.
game now at this point?
It's older than that. Anyway,
I know. It's a last gen console.
yeah, it's generations ago.
All right. Well, speaking of Dragon Age, Dragon Age director has left BioWare for an offer she, quote, could not turn down.
Again, internet controversy kind of muddied the waters here. The official story is that she did find another gig, and yeah, good for her. It had nothing to do with internet chuds as much as the internet chuds want you to believe. The narrative in the rumor mill is that she was fired, but there's no actual official credence to that claim.
Yet.
Now, I'm
I
sure.
only say that because at some point there's going to be a hack leak come out with
Ugh,
all like the emails, be like, see,
who
see,
knows? I just don't
or
want to lend any fire to the conspiracy theorists. They're already stupid enough. Yeah,
oh, no,
take that
sorry,
out.
yeah, I'm not in, not here, not yet. I
Anyway,
have my other theories elsewhere.
yeah.
All right. In other gaming bits, hey, the Video Game History Foundation will make its digital library available to the public next week.
Yeah, this is very exciting. They're a group that does a lot of good work. And one of the things that they've been doing is creating an archive of digital video game related materials, whether it be old video game magazines or instruction booklets or other kind of flyers, like marketing stuff, paraphernalia around video games. So yeah, so far it's been a project of theirs to get that to the public in kind of internet archive kind of presentation, and they're going to reveal that next week. I am very excited to dig into an archive of old video game magazines, especially because I love that stuff.
It'd be very interesting. This will help bolster some like Wikipedia articles. Be like, hey, like
Yes,
we can actually
indeed.
find something to point to,
Yes.
especially under rumor mills.
First, like firsthand references and citations will be wonderful for something like Wikipedia. You're exactly right.
All right. Let's see here. Well, something that doesn't need no annotations. Call of Duty was once again the U.S. best-selling video game for the 16th year running.
Yeah, as long as they release one, it will be your number one game. It seems like that's just what the numbers bear out.
You know, 2 years Call of Duty could just sign up for being Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's almost going to be well, actually, it's older than that. That's only the last 16 years, but the series predates that. It is over 18 years old. I
Oh
think
no.
that the original Call of Duty came out in 2003, I want to say.
Oh no, we're
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that means Call of Duty is like a sergeant now? General?
20, yeah, 22 years old, roughly.
Yeah. Staff Sergeant. Staff
Yeah.
Sergeant Call of Duty.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Let's see here. Well, someone who won't be getting a named title anytime soon. Warner Brothers game boss is officially leaving. Well, no surprise, swallowing the disappointments that were Multiverses and Suicide Squad from
So
last year.
yes, unlike the Dragon Age director, this does seem to be a direct result of underperformance. We know how Warner is ran right now, and he said that he had some very specific complaints and disagreements with how their games group was being run. So of course you're gonna bail out. So yeah, Warner
Bailout.
has a real issue on their hands. I think this is more severe than EA's issue. I think they need to figure out what games work and how to survive the Zaslav dynasty over there.
Well, someone who isn't pushed out, or at least I hope isn't being pushed out, Insomniac Games founder and president Ted Price, slated to be retiring.
I mean, this isn't super surprising. He's been a figure in the video games industry. Well, let's be honest, ever since I've been looking at it. So
Yeah,
since the
since the
mid
90s.
90s,
Yep.
he's the one who shepherded such famous franchises as Spyro the Dragon all the way through Ratchet and Clank to Resistance to to what they're currently doing with their Spider-Man games. He's been a like irreplaceable part of the PlayStation ecosystem ever since the very first Insomniac games.
Notice how you skipped right over Sunset Overdrive?
Well, that was a unique time in their history. That was between their PlayStation second party and PlayStation first party sequence
Right.
eras, I guess you could say. But yeah, Ted Price, great guy. He always seemed like one of those game directors who knew what he was doing and was always very knowledgeable and friendly. He was willing to show up and do interviews all the time and was one of those Sony related guys where you're just like, yeah, he's just a veteran who knows what he's doing. So it'll be sad, but he's going to be replaced by not one, not two, but three different co-heads that will all try to shepherd Insomniac into this next era.
That's, I mean, while it's a good sign that he was that responsible for that many price from that many like cogs
Yeah,
in the Insomniac games, that never feels like good because then it's like, okay, but who's the head
right.
when you have three?
I mean, in an era where PlayStation itself is run by two joint CEOs, it's like, yeah, that's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Couple of quick bit hits here. Don't Nod developer
Yes.
has delayed the second part of Lost Records, Bloom and Rage.
Yes, the first episode of it is still slated for just a few weeks from now in February, but the next one has been pushed, I believe, to May. So it'll be a little bit of a gap between the first and second episode of that game.
Yeah, they love doing their episodes, don't they? We also have Marvel Snap, which temporarily went dark due to its association with ByteDance.
Yes, so this was probably your headline before the developer direct happened and kind of took the spotlight. But yeah, as the kids say, Marvel Snap caught a stray this week. TikTok, as you may know, was shut down pretty voluntarily, it seems, by ByteDance in an effort to get eyes on it and to
Over
get the
last weekend,
yes.
Saturday into Sunday.
Basically, they took what was going to be a ban of their service in the US and took advantage of it by making a big show of things, praising President Trump for helping them out and coming back later the same day. But during the time that TikTok was down and extended beyond that, because of its publisher being owned by ByteDance, Marvel Snap was also down and was unable to be downloaded or updated from its app stores. Since then, it has been replaced, but the developer has said that they are not taking this sitting down and are planning on getting out of that arrangement with the ByteDance owned publisher and finding a new publisher for them. This is probably smart going forward, as they don't want to be at risk of shutting down randomly again. As a Marvel Snap player, did you notice when this happened?
I did because it's the end of the month, and I always come in at the very end of the month to just get all the monthly rewards.
Right.
So yeah, I noticed it. That's why I messaged you about it. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
think this happened.
it's
But yeah,
down.
it's so technically TikTok has 90 days, is given a 90-day extension. We
Yeah.
may be back in this same situation 3 months from now.
Yeah, that's the thing though,
Uh,
is that this went from something that seemed like it had like, a controversial but at least somewhat sturdy argument against it to now it just feels like, I think one person put it well, as a dog and pony show. And that's, I think, the best description. It seems very much that the president has taken advantage of the situation and has swayed ByteDance to just kind of do whatever he says. And so he's made this kind of blank check promise that he will help them get a deal within that period of time. And now they're all of a sudden subservient to him and mention him in every single little text box related to TikTok being up or down. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. And it sucks because it has kind of sucked the air right out of any good that I feel like TikTok had. It just feels like this weird puppet now.
there
I
was
don't know.
good.
You know what? Here's the thing, is we do not have time to get into this, but I will defend what TikTok was. I think it was a great source of hilarious shit, but also a really good resource for things that were kind of suppressed by the US led algorithms of the other social media platforms during the still ongoing, even though there is a ceasefire, war in Gaza, like the genocide in Palestine. Like, you saw a lot of people getting their news from TikTok because it was an algorithm that was only giving them what they were interested in, not being having things removed or cracked down on by the US government. And I think that led to some people getting vital information. That is something that will be lost here if the US has more control over what ByteDance and their product gets to do in the US. I think this is just overall a bad thing, like in almost every way that this has happened the way that it has happened. So I'm happy for people who get to enjoy TikTok again and to get their possible, their source of income from it. If you were a creator there that was making a lot of money on TikTok, good for you. However, I do think that in a way that this is now a compromised app in a way that it hadn't been prior. And it just sucks that we're just seeing social media app after social media app getting absorbed into this conservative like group of five people. And they just don't feel like they used
If they ever felt that way at all to begin with.
to. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, we're not a politics podcast here.
No.
Just dip our toe in every now and then.
We
Let's see here.
need
We
a
still have
t-shirt
game
that
bit.
says
We
we're
still have
not a
gaming bits here. We still need to get to.
yes, I know.
Why?
I know.
NCSoft Horizon MMO has been canceled.
Yeah, this was something we heard like a little bit of a rumor about. This more
Mm-hmm.
or less confirms it. This follows, of course, the cancellation of
The
several
God of
other
War SMO.
right live service S games. But hey, no one really wanted this anyway, so this one's okay.
That's okay. What's also okay for me at least is Genshin Impact maker being fined $20 million over its deceptive loot box and child privacy violation.
Yes, this one came from the FTC here in the US. This was kind of a long time coming. They got their slap on the wrist and they got new requirements that they have to have in game starting soon. The exact date, I'm not sure if they had one, but starting very soon, Genshin Impact will have to list the odds of all of their random loot box, equivalent pulls. I guess they had a version of that in the UK and parts of Europe already, but it will be required now fully in the US as part of this deal.
You think kids understand percentages?
I don't know, but it's better than nothing, is what I will say.
I mean, they thought the percentages for the polls whenever a new pack comes out for Pokemon Pocket,
Right.
but people still pull, people still
Oh my
pay.
God. Yeah.
Even the new update for Infinity Nikki, people still pull, people still pay.
Yeah, I haven't jumped into the update yet, but I plan on doing that this weekend.
It's pretty fun. I'm having fun with it. And lastly, in gaming bits, now that we finally got to the bottom of this thing,
Yes.
as you mentioned, there was an Xbox Developer Direct, and they announced a couple games, including Ninja Gaiden 4 coming this year, fall
Mhm.
2025. Alongside it, we'll have Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is available January 2025.
Yeah, now.
Wait, that's now. That's
Yeah,
now. It's available now.
available now.
Uh, we also have release dates announced for South of Midnight, Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, and of course, the long awaited, or much anticipated, Doom, The Dark Ages.
Yeah, I watched this thing. Did you happen to watch it?
I did not catch it. No.
Okay, what I'll say is real brief. I don't have those release dates, but all three of those games coming out in the next 4 months. Those are
Okay.
April, May kind of timeline. So you're going to get all this stuff very quickly. Of course, you will have to wait for Ninja Gaiden 4 at the end of the year. But yeah, Black 2 was a huge surprise. It is a remake, as the name implies, of Ninja Gaiden 2, a 360 game that came out in 2008. That is available now as we mentioned, and on Game Pass. So that's also the other thing is all these games will be Game Pass games.
Hmm.
What I will say is I really enjoyed the developer direct, and I thought all of these games look great. This is the first time we've been able to say that about a Microsoft lineup in a long time, but it seems like all that waiting is actually paying off. The general consensus seems to be that this is a really strong lineup for the first half of the year. I'm especially interested in Doom. Dark Ages looks amazing. I liked what I had played of Doom 2016, and this seems like a better follow-up to that than Eternal was, which was a kind of divisive game. This seems like they're going back to basics, just focusing on the gunplay, a lot of melee combat, a shield that does a parry. That seems like a lot of fun to play with, a lot of tools, and a cool medieval influence setting that I think is going to really, really work. That is definitely an early highlight of this year. That's coming out in May. Claire Obscure also looks good. You might be interested in that one. That is very Final Fantasy influenced RPG. But it's also very French, which is interesting. So keep that one on your radar. It's also coming out on PS5 before you ask. So you will be able to play that. And then yeah, even Ninja Gaiden, even though that's something I don't really have played in the past, looked pretty good. Platinum working on that one alongside Team Ninja for the first time. So it's got a little bit of a Platinum influence on the battle system. It seems like just a little dash of Bayonetta in there. And then South of Midnight looks great too. A very unique art style and kind of frame rate approach. It's not too dissimilar to how the Spider-Man animated movies look. It's very like that kind of every couple frames kind of vibe. All those games look good.
Yep. South of Midnight will be launching April 8th. Then a couple
Cool.
of weeks later, Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, launching on April 24th. Followed a couple of weeks later by Doom, The Dark Ages on May 15th.
Yeah.
And like you said, all that available on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
May have to pick one up at some point.
I guess so.
Maybe. All right.